Brook covers himself in glory too, in a defeat that will still live long in the memory, maybe more than any of his victories, possibly the Sean Porter win apart. What guts, what courage, but he fell short as most predicted he would. And Andy Scott with, in the end, a very worthy winner.
Gennady. Yes. Just while they fix all number of belts to you. Congratulations. You promised a big drama show for the fans here. 5 thoroughly exciting, brutal rounds. Talk us through it.
You know, first of all, thank you very much, London, like all public, like all fans. Thank you very much. You know, I promise bring big drama show because, you know, I know Kell, he's huge fighter. He's very good fighter. And sorry, he's not middleweight. It's not his way.
Did you feel then through the fight that you were too big, too strong?
You know, I know my style. Just, you know, I respect him. He's good and not so strong.
It was great to watch. Did he hurt you at all?
No, he just touched. You know, this is like training. I don't feel his power and stay like this and relax. Like, yeah, so many punches and I don't feel.
A word on Kell Brook. A lot of people wouldn't fight you. Kell came up from his natural, well, they say it's his natural weight of welterweight to meet you at middleweight. A word on him.
Yes, I respect. Kell, he's real, you know, and thanks his corner, you know. First of all, for him, right, for his career, for his family, is correct, you know, this, because I feel it's game over.
Okay, finish. Got all your team here, so let's talk about the future. Politics, money, egos aside, who do you want to fight?
First of all, I'm a boxer, you know, just I'm open for everybody. For everybody, just I want unification fight.
Okay. In the build-up, I heard Abel Sanchez, your trainer, mention the names Eubank Jr. This fight didn't happen this time. James DeGale, would you come back to the UK to fight again?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I would like Billy Joe Saunders because he has WBO belt.
The WBO champion Billy Joe Saunders. You would come back to London to fight him here?
Of course, 100%.
Canelo has gone down to fight Liam Smith. If he came back up to middleweight, would you still want to fight Canelo with everything that's gone on?
I'm still in my way. Absolutely, I'm open for everybody.
Let's have a word with your trainer, Abel Sanchez. Big smile on your face. Abel, is there a middleweight around at the moment that can stand up to Gennady's power, in your opinion?
No, I've said anybody from 54 to 68 wouldn't go 12 rounds with him. Kell is a very good fighter, as you saw right now, but eventually they're going to break down, and eventually his power and his ability to land clean punches is going to take effect, just like it did with Kell. I'm happy that the corner protected Kell because these guys are not going to quit. He's a warrior, and Dom felt it was necessary at that point, and I'm glad everybody's fine.
Okay, pleasure working with you guys this week. Congratulations. Let's have a word with a brave, courageous, ultimately defeated Kell Brook. Kell.
Yeah.
Must be difficult to put into words, but try for us.
I'm devastated, you know. He obviously can punch, but, you know, I expect him to be a bit bigger puncher. I think in the second round, I think he broke my eye socket, caught me with a shot. I think that he would catch me with his biggest shots, and I was starting to settle into the fight, you know. But I was seeing 3 or 4 of them out there, so it was hard to get through it. But I think that I was tricking him. His shots were coming underneath, and I was frustrating him. I was standing there at times. I was starting to settle into it, but when you see 3 or 4 of them, you know, it's hard to carry on.
Did you feel that you did hurt him at all? He said there that he wasn't ever hurt, but you caught him with an uppercut in the first round and a couple of other times as the fight wore on.
Believe me, I hurt him. You know, when you're in a fight, you can see every movement of a fighter, and I've seen his legs buckle a couple of times. I was starting to settle in. I'm not taking nothing away from Golovkin. You know, he's a scary champion. Nobody wants to fight him. I would fight him again. You know, I mean, this with the eye, you know, stop me coming forward. He's a great champion. I think that the fans, you know, I'm trying to get back to the fans, an amazing fight. I hope that they enjoyed the fight while it lasted. I wish I could go on, but when you see 5 of them, you don't know which one to hit. Hit the one in the middle, they said, but, you know, it started to get tough in there when you can't see, you know, against a great champion.
No, all credit to you. What about the weight issue? Do you believe that you are a middleweight, or do you believe that you're more of a super welterweight? can you ever go back down to welterweight?
You know, we'll have to go to the... we'll have to go back to the drawing boards, get on the machines and see where I put a lot of muscle on. You know, I think I'd be more suited at 154 light middleweight. I think I'd be big, strong. I know that Canelo and Liam Smith are fighting next week. I'd love to fight the winner. You know, I think I've jumped up 2 weight divisions and boxed the man what everybody's running away of. And now we're ready to stand and fight with him. I'm starting to settle in, like I just said. It weren't my night. I'm absolutely gutted because there were much, much more to come from me. I was just getting started, but I've seen 5 of them out there. I think I bust my eye socket.
Nobody knows better than your trainer, Dominic Ingle, and I presume you would have fought on regardless. Were you happy with the stoppage? Maybe phrase that wrong.
You know,
can you be angry at the stoppage?
I'm a warrior. I want to carry on, you know, but my team watching it from the outside. Dominic stood up. I was ready to fight on. You know, you have to kill me in here. Everybody knows that who trains with me. I was starting to come on, you know, I was starting to settle in. You see me stand with him at times. I was starting to get into the fight. We knew that the first 5 or 6 rounds were going to be very tough. And then we were going to start boxing and taking over, standing with him a little bit, wearing him, have a little war with him, and then go for a little walk and get the later rounds. But you have to talk to me, coach, about why you come up.
Dominic, your voice is gone. Okay, we'll bring in promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, Dominic's voice has gone. He's struggling to speak there. Just a word on the courageous ability of going. Let's try.
When you're in with Golovkin, taking too many shots.
Yeah. Eddie Hearn, a word on Kell. Tremendous effort. Where do you go now and your thoughts on the fight?
Well, listen, you know, fans always want people to step up and fight the best, and Kell stepped up and fought the best. He was ahead on the scorecards, but at the end of the day, you know, his eye socket's gone and he's seeing 2 or 3 of them. He would fight all night, but the team, I know the fans want to see the fight go on as long as possible. But you know, you can't be fighting a guy like Golovkin when you can't even focus on the guy. So I think Kell deserves a huge amount of respect. I believe he's still one of the best fighters in the world. You know, no one else wants to fight Golovkin. He stepped up from welterweight to middleweight. You know, it wasn't just a middleweight fighting a middleweight. He wanted the big fights. No one wanted to fight him. And for 5 or 6 rounds, I think he's given Golovkin a hell of a fight there. And, you know, like I said, Mauricio Suleiman just told me he was ahead on the scorecards. I would have liked to have seen the fight go on. But, you know, you can't let fighters fight with injuries like that. But I think Kell Brook deserves a lot of respect.
And just a word. He wants Billy Joe Saunders next. The names that were mentioned in the build-up, the likes of James DeGale and Chris Eubank Jr., who you obviously promote. What about those fights?
Yeah, listen, I think he showed that Golovkin is human. You know, it was a great 5 or 6 rounds that he gave him. He told he could hit him. He gave him great angles. But in the end, the power caught up. It damaged him. And Golovkin's a very, very strong man. And, you know, that fight was going to go into deep waters. I know you wanted to see it. But also, you've got a guy whose health's at stake as well. So Kell Brook will be back. He's still the IBF welterweight champion of the world. Will sit down, go away, and he'll be in some big fights in the future in this country.
Final word to you, Kell.
I'll be back. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I'll be back. You know, I get it me all. When you can't continue, you can't. I'll be back. I love everyone here. If you've seen me win or lose, you've still come and supported boxing. Thank you all.
So Kell Brook saying he was sorry to disappoint. I saw you watching it, enjoying that fight there, Johnny. Did he disappoint you? I don't think so.
No, not at all. Kell impressed me so much with his courage, with his behaviour. He's calm, he's cool under pressure from Golovkin when Golovkin was trying to walk him down, trying to rush him, and the shots were just whizzing past him. His cool was unbelievable. You've got to give him credit, you've got to give Dominic Ingle credit, because that was a brave decision he made, throwing the towel in such a time when the fight was so exciting. But you could see just before he pulled the towel in, threw the towel in, Kell was back on his heels, his hands were down, his face kind of sagged a little bit. He knew when Kell came back to the corner before that, it was a brave decision to make, not a popular one because the fans were loving what they saw, but you've got to think about the fighter. Kell walks out of there with massive stripes, massive respect. It was a hard decision to accept from the fans, but I get it. I think his performance up to that point was second to none. I've never seen anybody do or get the shots he got in with Golovkin. Nobody expected Kell to even get past 3 rounds, never mind at least getting with 1 or 2 decent shots and put him under pressure and get him angry, get him frustrated. Kell was doing pretty well. His eye socket went, end of story. There's nothing you can do about that. And Dominic was protecting his fighter, so respect to that.
Golovkin said he's just not a middleweight. Did you feel like it was just a stretch too far middleweight, or nothing to do with weight in this case?
It's nothing to do with weight, because after that performance there, we didn't think Golovkin's an amazing puncher. We didn't think he bullied Kell around the ring. We just know he's an amazing puncher. Kell hit him with some decent shots, do a brilliant shots, and so you've got to say, if that was any other middleweight in the world, what would have happened there? You know, you could see Kell getting in with anybody, the likes of Liam Smith or Kennel, and thinking, wow, you know, this kid could really give him a run for money, if not beat him, beat convincingly, because nobody had ever put that kind of pressure on Golovkin up to that stage. All
right, all credit to Kell for that. Let's get you back to the ringside to Ed.
Well, Kell loses his unbeaten record, but wins some fans. Where do we start, Matthew? Dominic Ingle, first of all, pantomime booing from the crowd, but was that a compassionate decision from him?
I thought it was a very compassionate decision. You've got to remember, Dominic Ingles had Kell Brook from a young kid. He cares for his fighters, cares for all his fighters. I thought Kell boxed absolutely brilliant. The way he was frustrating Golovkin, giving him angles, throwing screw shots up the middle, hooking and moving and then coming back from another angle. On the ropes, he was like a bar of soap. Golovkin couldn't nail him clean. He was getting through with some shots, but his big shots, he was making it miss him. At times, he made Golovkin look really clumbersome and awkward, missing with big lead hooks. He was coming under the shots, turning him, letting off 3-4 punch combinations. I thought he boxed the perfect game plan, and he showed big courage in doing it. You know, because it's a daunting task to do that, to stand in front of Golovkin and let those combinations go. But he did it, and also he had a bad injury to you know, deal with as well. But I think ultimately, as the fight was going on and both fighters settled into it, Golovkin was starting to land cleanly, and I think it was a good decision by Dominic Ingle, because he did have that injury, and he'd boxed above and beyond. I thought he's done as well as anyone's done with him, probably better. You know, he had a great second round. He got shook in the first, come out in the second round, completely turned it around, had a great second round. But I do think the weight was, you know, coming up 2 weights. Everyone says, I know Johnny says, oh, the weight was up 2 weights. I think it was. Obviously, Golovkin's a special fighter, but going up 2 weight divisions, you could see the bigger man. Eventually, it took his time. But, you know, I respected Kell Brook before tonight, but now I respect him here.
Paulie, that first round was really sensational, because we expected Golovkin to start fast and maybe hurt Brook, but the way Brook roared back at him after taking those thunderous punches.
You know, I didn't know who to give the round to. I wound up scoring it 10-10 because Golovkin hurt him with a great hook to the head and set up by a great body shot. Look, he'll land the hook to the body, and it'll get Brook's hands away from his face, and then he'll land the hook to the head, which you don't see there in the follow-up. But then the rest of the round, I mean, Kell came back almost angry, putting together combinations, and this is where I disagree with Johnny about weight having nothing to do with it, because not only don't you see Golovkin getting hit with combinations, but you don't see Kell Brook landing combinations and guys not going down. Kell Brook knocks down full-fledged welterweights with 1 punch. So he was landing combinations on Gennady Golovkin. One thing I've said all week about Gennady Golovkin, there's one flaw. There's absolutely no head movement. He can be hit by a sharpshooter, and Kell Brook is a sharpshooter. The thing I was most impressed by, though, is Kell Brook's character. At the end of the day, he was moving around the ring and stayed calm the entire time, even after having eaten certain shots, even after having probably his eye socket broken, which is an injury I've had in the past. He remained calm. He didn't take off in flight mode. He stayed calm. He let the punches miss by ever so much so that he could come back and make the counter punches count and win some rounds. You know, the character of the man. People said this is Kell Brook is the most skilled opponent Golovkin's ever faced. I think it's between him and Willie Monroe. The difference, though, with Willie Monroe and Kell Brook, Willie Monroe landed shots on Kell Brook, on Gennady Golovkin. But when the pressure came, Willie Monroe panicked and didn't know where to go, what to do, or even had any answers. Kell Brook is athletic, or even more athletic than Monroe, or just on the same level playing field as athletically as Willie Monroe, but the character of the man. The character, he stayed calm the entire time despite the assault coming back. I mean, Golovkin came out, you could say almost angry in round 3, just shot right out of the corner and put pressure, and Kell had another difficult round. And then in round 4, Kell came back and probably won the round.
I mean, that left uppercut he hit with, I think it was in the second round. If that was any other welterweight, if that was a welterweight, not a middleweight, he was on the floor. Even then, he landed a left hook, straight right hand combination straight after it. And you think, you know, if that was any, that's why I disagree with Johnny when he says welterweight, middleweight. If that was a welterweight in the world, he'd have shook them to their boots.
Absolutely, and I'll give you one even more. Even if you're not knocking down the guy, you're landing shots like that, the pressure will stop. The guy will think twice about the assault he's bringing to you. The reason There's a problem, my opinion, the reason Golovkin's assault never stopped, or it stopped in moments, then it restarted. Stopped in moments and restarted. And that's obviously the mental strength of Golovkin as well. Let's give credit where credit is due. But at the end of the day, it wasn't hurting enough. It was getting his attention for sure. I don't think he hurt Golovkin fully, but I do think he got his attention and made Golovkin realize, you know what, let me settle down here and let me figure out where I'm going. Because there were moments when Golovkin was clearly frustrated.
And confused. Yeah. He confused him, frustrated him. You could see him getting angry and almost walking after him.
Did he show you a blueprint on how to beat Golovkin?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got to sustain it for 12 rounds. And like you say, he landed flush, he landed some great shots. But he's a welterweight hitting a big middleweight, you know, and it's a middleweight hitting a welterweight, so the shots that hit him back, it just took more effect than they would have normally.
And again, credit where credit is due. Look at the finish line.
And I thought it was a good stoppage. I thought it was a good stoppage too. But it was a good stoppage.
I've had that injury. You do start to see double and triple. It's a weird injury, and you don't want to be seeing more double and triple when you're fighting such a big puncher. It gets more dangerous. Kell Brook can come back strong as ever off of this because of the merciful stoppage by Dominic Ingle. I think it's the best thing for him. I know he's angry, I know he's a competitor, but I think it's a good stoppage. And give him off credit. He's the one that broke Brook's orbit bone if it's broken.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see now. Liam Smith fights Canelo next week. I'd love to see the winner of that fight, Kell Brook.
And I want to give credit for Golovkin with the finish too. Look how calm he stays on balance, doesn't throw himself all over Kell Brook and smother himself. Or look at it, he remains with look at the punch selection. The punch selection also keeps the proper punching distance so that he can get maximum leverage on every shot, forcing that stoppage. Golovkin well schooled, even in the moment where it counts to make it end. He didn't get too emotional. He stayed like a calculated finisher that he is.
I thought Kell's movement on the ropes, his head movement, he was like a bar of soap. He couldn't name it. It was almost Mayweather-esque. Yeah. He was here, he was down here, and Golovkin was missing wild, and you could see he was getting annoyed, he was getting frustrated, and then he come back with that lovely left uppercut and that left hook right-hand counter, which it didn't, I wouldn't say it rocked him, but it definitely stung him.
The punch selection, I mean, there were shots Golovkin didn't anticipate because the punch selection was so varied. He was like, whoa.
Me and Johnny Nelson going mental. I thought Kell boxed absolutely brilliant. Okay. All things considered.
Looking to the future, will Kell Brook win a world title at 11 stone, light middleweight?
I think so.
Super welterweight?
Definitely. After that performance,
I think he's 100%. Got a terrific ability and amount of talent. And I'm not saying he can't win a title at light middleweight. But for me, the light middleweight division is the most talented in boxing. It doesn't have the most stars. There's actually probably a shortage of stars compared to the amount of talent that's in that weight class. But Kell Brook, among that talent, is also, he fits right in with that talent. And there are some great fights to be made, including Kell Brook in there. I'm excited to see Kell Brook again. I hope everybody else is as well.
And what about Golovkin in the future? He needs that defining fight. He's getting all his defenses with like 23 stoppages in a row. But people will still say, why hasn't he fought the other middleweight champions, Billy Joe Saunders or Danny Jacobs? Canelo obviously moved down.
Well, I think they didn't really want to fight him, let's be honest. They haven't wanted to fight him. They might want to fight him after tonight. You know, Kell Brook went in there, made him look human, you know. But everyone's walking away from this arena tonight talking about Kell Brook. We're not really talking, we're talking about how well Kell Brook did. We know he lost the fight, but, you know, the way he stood his ground there in round 2 and 3 and really stood in range and let combinations go and shook, you know, I don't know if he shook him, but he certainly buzzed him. You know, Kell Brook went up in my estimations big time tonight.
Danny Jacobs had a big win last night over Sergio Mora. Scored 5 knockdowns. This is now 2 wins in a row where Danny Jacobs has looked very, very impressive. A first-round stoppage of Peter Quillen, and now a 5 knockdown performance, TKO stoppage in the 7th round of Sergio Mora, another ex-world champion. Danny Jacobs says he wants Golovkin. Now, saying it is one thing, putting your money where your mouth is another thing. I'd love to see that fight. I think Jacobs is really coming into his own, looking the best he's looked in his career thus far. I think it would be a sensational fight. But Golovkin wants to come back to England, and I don't blame him with all these great fans here. I mean, this arena was awesome.
I'll stop you there, gentlemen.
The WBO champion, that's a massive fight here as well.
It certainly is. I'll stop you there, gentlemen. Back to Kate and Johnny for final thoughts.
Thanks very much, Ed. Johnny, what do you reckon? Do you see him winning a world title at middleweight in the future?
Without a doubt. Again, Matthew Mackin got it spot on. Everybody's walking out of here talking about the performance of Kell Brook, how amazing it was, how shocked they were. And even the doubters, most of us thought, you know, hoped he'd win, but didn't think he'd do so well. So you're going to look at it now and think, number one, he doesn't have to go back down to welterweight. Maybe has to get the fights in because he's got the title. Yeah. Number two, I know for a fact he'll be very comfortable, very strong at light middleweight. And there are big fights out there for him. He'll go back, he'll be gutted tonight, but he'll also look at this fight again and think, you know what, I did really well. I'm proud.
As you say, he'll be absolutely gutted tonight. He came into this undefeated, didn't he? How difficult is that first loss to deal with?
In that fashion, not that difficult, because he went in against the best of the best. So if you're going to lose, lose to the best of the best. So it's not that difficult. But I'll tell you one thing he did show. He did kind of show a blueprint to beating Golovkin. And I think a Mayweather fighter would have beat Golovkin. That style, that slip sloping style would have really outfoxed him and frustrated him. But his strength is his second. You know, there's nothing else that comes close to that. I've never seen anybody punch like him. Or should I say, go back in history, look at the likes of Julian Jackson and people like that. This guy is so powerful. But when it comes to boxing ability, we saw Kell Brook could outbox him, outfox him, outmove him, but he just couldn't outpunch him.
Before the fight, we talked about the fact that it's a little bit difficult to gauge Golovkin coming into this because of the quality of the opponents that he'd faced. What have you learned about him tonight? Have we seen anything that we didn't know about him?
Not at all. We know he can get frustrated. We know he's great coming forward, not the best coming back. Well, that's what I personally think. We know if you attack him from angles and you use speed, it can cause him troubles. How can he deal with that? I don't know. But what we saw was he got frustrated, he got mad, he got angry. He was like insulted that Kell was still there after 2 rounds, but Kell still gave him trouble. And so, yes, Golovkin would have gone back and thought, how's he managed to do that? He'll never want an opponent like Kell Brook again.
We heard the crowd obviously disappointed with the results at the end and disappointed with Dominic Ingle for throwing in the towel, but how much respect has he earned tonight, do you think, across the boxing world?
Dominic Ingle, Golovkin or Kell?
Sorry, Kell Brook.
Kell Brook, massive respect around the world, and all the top champions overseas were looking at Kell saying, what is he doing? I'm telling you now, his stock has flown right up tonight from that performance. Even though he lost, his stock has flown right up because how he dealt with Golovkin up to that stage, second to none.
Well, the Gennady Golovkin then retaining his world middleweight titles. Kell Brook, though, with an absolutely heroic performance, as Johnny says. The reign of the most feared man in boxing continues, though. Thanks for joining us, and good night.